Dr. Nasseri didn't look at me when he said it. He looked at the scan images clipped to the light board and talked about the shapes there like they were clouds in a weather report. "There's a mass," he said, "right lobe, about 3 centimeters. I nodded. I think I nodded. My hands were on my knees, and I was pressing down so hard my knuckles turned white. "We'll need a biopsy to confirm the type," he said, "but based on what I'm seeing, Marcus, I want to be honest with you. Okay? It's most likely malignant." That word. I had heard it before. I had read it online 100 times in the last 2 weeks. But hearing it from a man in a white coat, in a cold room, with my chest x-ray glowing behind him, that was different. That was real. "What does that mean?" I asked. Stupid question. I knew what it meant. "It means we need to act quickly. I'm going to refer you to an oncologist, Dr. Farber. She's excellent." "Okay. Do you have someone with you today?" "My friend is in the waiting room." "Good, that's good." I sat there for another minute after he left. The light board was still on. The shapes were still there. I stared at them and thought about nothing. Then I thought about everything. Darren was reading a car magazine when I came out. He stood up fast, dropped it on the chair. "Hey, what did he say?" "Let's go to the car." "Marcus." "The car, Darren." He didn't push. That's the thing about Darren. We'd worked together at the distribution warehouse for 6 years. He wasn't the type to fill silence with noise. He just walked beside me, through the sliding doors, into the parking lot, and didn't say a word until I was ready. We sat in his truck, engine off, windows down, June heat pressing in. "It's bad," I said. "How bad?" "Lung, probably cancer. They need to do more tests, but he said..." I stopped, swallowed. "He said it's most likely malignant." Darren put both hands on the steering wheel, squeezed. Okay, what's the next step?" "Biopsy, then some specialist." "When?" "He's going to call me." "All right." He paused. "Does Sandra know?" "No." "Marcus." "I know." "You gotta tell her." "I know, Darren. Not today. I can't do it today." He started the truck. The radio came on, some pop song. He turned it off. "You hungry?" he asked. "No." "I'm buying you a sandwich anyway." That made me almost smile. Almost. I should explain some things. I'm 38. I work in logistics at a warehouse outside of Columbus. Sandra and I have been married 9 years. No kids. We tried for a while, then stopped trying, then stopped talking about it. That silence became a wall, then more walls. Now our apartment has a lot of walls and not much else. My sister Leah is 34. She works in marketing at a tech company. She's smart. She's driven. She's the one my mother always talks about. Leah got another raise. Leah is presenting at a conference. Leah. My mother Ruth is 63. After my father died 4 years ago, I was the one who handled everything. The funeral, the bills, selling the second car, fixing the leaking roof on her house. Leah sent flowers and flew in for 2 days. I stayed for 3 months. But somehow, when Mom tells the story, Leah was the one who held the family together. I think sometimes you get assigned a role in your family before you're old enough to fight it. I was the quiet one, the dependable one, the one nobody worries about because he never complains. And after a while, you stop existing. You're just furniture, always there, never noticed. Darren dropped me home around 4. I stood outside my building and checked my phone. 7 messages in the family group chat, all about Leah. She'd been promoted to senior director, youngest in her company's history apparently. Mom had organized a dinner at her house, tonight. Everyone was expected. I scrolled through the messages. Mom had sent a string of heart emojis. Leah posted a photo of her new office. My Uncle Victor wrote, "That's my girl." Nobody asked where I was. Nobody noticed I'd been quiet all day. I went inside. Sandra was in the kitchen. "Hey," she said without turning around. "Hey. Your mom called. Dinner at her place tonight. For Leah." I saw. "You okay? You look pale." "Long day." She turned then, looked at me. Her eyes narrowed the way they always did when she was trying to decide if it was worth pushing. "Marcus, you've been having a lot of long days." "I know." "Is something going on?" "I'm just tired." She held my gaze for 3 seconds. Then she turned back to the sink. "We need to leave by 6, she said. That was it. That was how things were between us. She'd reach out, I'd pull back, and we'd both pretend it didn't happen. I'd been doing it for months, ever since the coughing started, ever since the weight loss, ever since I started waking up at 3 a.m. drenched in sweat and sitting on the bathroom floor, Googling symptoms like a man writing his own death sentence. I realized now that pulling away from her was just another way of disappearing. I thought I was protecting her, but I was just hiding. And hiding from the people who love you is not protection, it's punishment. Mom's house smelled like roasted garlic and lemon cake. The good china was out, fresh flowers on the table. She'd even put up a little banner, "Congratulations, Leah," in gold letters. Leah was already there, sitting at the head of the table like a queen. Her boyfriend, Neil, was beside her. Mom was fussing around the kitchen, happier than I'd seen her in months. "There he is," Mom said when I walked in. She gave me a quick hug, half a second. Then she turned to Sandra. "Sandra, honey, can you help me with the salad?" Sandra nodded and went to the kitchen. "Marcus," Leah called out. "Can you believe it? Senior director." "Congrats, Leah." "Thanks. It's been insane. 3 rounds of interviews for the internal promotion. Neil almost lost his mind listening to me prep." Neil shrugged. "She's not wrong." Uncle Victor was in the living room watching baseball. He waved at me without looking up. I sat down on the couch. The room was loud, bright, full of energy, and I was sitting there with the word malignant still echoing in my skull like a bell that wouldn't stop. Dinner was roast chicken, potatoes, green beans, that lemon cake for dessert. Mom made a toast. "To Leah," she said, raising her glass. "Your father would be so proud." Everyone raised their glasses. I raised mine. My hand was steady. My face was normal. Nobody saw anything wrong. "Speech," Victor called. Leah laughed. "Oh, stop." "Come on," Neil said. "You rehearsed one." "I did not." "You literally did." Everyone laughed. Leah stood up and gave a little speech about hard work and believing in yourself. It was sweet. It was genuine. I didn't hear most of it. I was thinking about the light board, the shapes, the 3 centimeters. I was thinking about how that morning I woke up and coughed into the bathroom sink and saw pink. Not red, just pink. Just enough. And now I was sitting here eating lemon cake with a fork and pretending my life wasn't splitting down the middle. Sandra caught my eye from across the table. She tilted her head slightly. "You okay?" I gave her a small nod. "I'm fine." She didn't believe me, I could tell, but she let it go. There is something I've learned about the people closest to you. They always see the crack before you show it. They just wait for you to admit it's there. And when you don't, that waiting turns into something harder, something colder, something that looks like giving up. After dinner, I was helping Mom wash dishes, just me and her in the kitchen. Sandra was in the living room with Leah and Neil. Victor had left. "You were quiet tonight," Mom said. "I'm always quiet." "Quieter than usual." I scrubbed a plate. "I'm happy for Leah." "You don't seem happy." I set the plate in the rack, turned to her. "Mom, I'm happy for her. What do you want me to do, dance?" "I want you to be present, Marcus. This was a big night for your sister." "I was here. I ate dinner. I raised my glass." "You looked miserable." Something cracked in me, small but real. "Mom," I said slowly, "did you ask me once today how I was?" "What?" "Not once. Not a single time. Not a text. Not a call. Nothing." "Marcus, tonight was about Leah." "It's always about Leah." My voice stayed low. "Always. Every dinner, every phone call, every holiday. That's not fair. Dad's funeral. I planned every single thing. You know what you said to me after? You said, "Thank God Leah flew in. I couldn't have survived without her." She was there for 2 days, Mom. 2 days. I was there for 3 months. Mom put down the dish towel. Her face changed. Not angry. Something else. Something like being caught. You didn't notice. I know. That's the point. Silence. The faucet dripped. From the other room, I heard Leah laughing. "I got my test results back today," I said. I hadn't planned to say it. It just came out, like steam from a pipe. "What test results?" "I've been sick, Mom, for a few months now. I didn't tell anyone. I went for scans. Today the doctor told me I probably have lung cancer." Her hand went to her mouth. Her eyes filled up. "Marcus, I sat in that office today, alone, and then I came here and watched everybody celebrate, and nobody, not one person, asked me how my day was." She stepped toward me. "Why didn't you tell us?" "When? Between the toasts?" "Marcus, please." "I'm not blaming Leah. She deserves this. She worked hard. But Mom..." I stopped. My throat was tight. "I'm your son too." Sandra found me on the back porch 10 minutes later. I was sitting on the steps. The air was warm and thick, and the neighbor's dog was barking somewhere far away. She sat down beside me, didn't speak, just sat. "I have cancer," I said. "Probably. Lung." She was quiet for a long time. "How long have you known something was wrong?" she asked. Her voice was shaking. "A few months." "Months." "Yes. And you didn't tell me." "I didn't tell anyone." "I'm not anyone, Marcus. I'm your wife." I looked at her. Her eyes were wet, but her jaw was tight. She was angry and scared and hurt all at the same time. "You're right," I said. "I'm sorry. I have been begging you to talk to me, for months. I thought you didn't love me anymore. I thought you were done." "No. I thought I was losing you." "You're not." "Then why did you shut me out?" I looked at the yard, the overgrown grass, the broken fence post I kept meaning to fix. "Because I was scared," I said. "And I didn't know how to be scared in front of somebody else." She leaned into me, just her shoulder against mine, and that small touch broke something I'd been holding for so long that I forgot I was holding it. I think we build walls because we believe they'll keep us safe, but all they really do is make sure that when the worst comes, we face it in the smallest, loneliest room possible. The next 20 minutes were chaos. Mom told Leah. Leah came outside and just stood there, hand over her mouth, crying before she even said a word. Neil stayed inside, giving us space. Sandra held my hand and didn't let go. "Why didn't you say something?" Leah asked. "It's your night, Leah." "I don't care about my night. Marcus, are you serious?" "It might be treatable. The doctor said it depends on the biopsy." "When is that?" "Next week, maybe." "I'm going with you." "You don't have to." "Shut up, I'm going." Mom appeared in the doorway. She looked smaller than I'd ever seen her, older. She came and sat on my other side, put her hand on my back. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Mom, no." "Let me say this. I'm sorry. You're right. I haven't been paying attention. Not tonight. Not for a long time." I didn't say anything. I just let her hand stay where it was. That night, Sandra and I lay in bed in the dark. Neither of us slept. We talked more than we had in months. About the diagnosis, about the marriage, about the baby we never had and the grief we never shared, about how we'd been two people living in the same apartment, sleeping in the same bed, and missing each other completely. "I want to go to every appointment," she said. "Okay. And I want you to stop pretending you're fine when you're not." "That's going to be hard." "I know. Do it anyway." I rolled over and looked at her. In the dark, I could barely see her face, but I could feel her, closer than she'd been in a long time. "I don't know what's going to happen," I said. "Neither do I." "Are you scared?" "Yes." "Me too." She found my hand under the covers. "Then we'll be scared together," she said. The biopsy was on a Thursday. Darren drove me again. Sandra sat in the back. Leah met us at the hospital. Mom was in the waiting room with a Tupperware of food because that's what she does when she doesn't know what else to do. Dr. Farber was calm and direct. She said the mass was stage 2, treatable, not easy, but treatable. She used words like aggressive protocol and cautiously optimistic, and I held onto that second word like a rope. Leah squeezed my shoulder in the hallway after. See, treatable. Treatable isn't cured, I said. No, but it's a start. Sandra drove us home that day. First time in years she drove my car. I sat in the passenger seat and watched the city go by and felt something strange. Not hope, exactly, but the space where hope might fit. Some things didn't fix themselves overnight. Mom still talked about Leah too much. Sandra and I still had hard nights. The treatment made me sick in ways I wasn't ready for. There were days I couldn't get off the bathroom floor. Days where I was angry at everyone and everything, including myself. But Darren showed up every chemo session, brought sandwiches I couldn't eat, and magazines I never read, and sat with me for hours without saying much. Leah called every night, short calls, 2 minutes, sometimes just, "Hey, thinking about you, good night." Mom started texting me, not just in the group chat, private messages, small things. "How are you feeling today? I made soup, can I bring some over?" Small things, but they added up. Looking back, I understand now that people don't always ignore you because they don't care. Sometimes they just forget to look. And sometimes it takes something terrible to remind them where to point their eyes. 6 months later, the scans came back clean. Not cured, but clear, for now. I stood in the hospital hallway with Sandra. She looked at the paper in my hands, and then at me, and just nodded. Slow, like she'd been holding a breath for half a year and was finally letting it out. "Clean," she said. "Clean." She hugged me, right there, in the middle of the hallway with people walking past and someone's phone ringing and the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. That night we had dinner at Mom's. No banner, no speeches, just chicken and potatoes and the 6 of us around the table. Mom reached over and put her hand on mine before we ate. Didn't say anything, just held it for a second. Leah smiled at me from across the table. Darren, who Mom had started inviting to everything, was telling Neil some story about the warehouse that wasn't even that funny, but everyone laughed anyway. It wasn't perfect. It would never be perfect. But everyone was looking at me now, and I was finally letting them. The dishes still had to be washed. The fence still needed fixing. The next scan was in 3 months, and the fear would come back before then. But that night, the table was full, the food was warm, and for the first time in a long time, when someone asked me how I was doing, I told the truth. "Better," I said. "Getting better." And I meant it in every way a person can.